I joined the RCMP in 2004. In 2011, I was engaged in a lethal force confrontation with the suspect. I was forced to discharge my firearm. Tragically, that suspect died, and the effects of that were not immediate on me. I went through a period of just trying to, get back to work, but then a few months later, I realized that I wasn't actually doing all that well. It came in the form of sometimes uncontrollable reactions to things, irritability, constant anxiety, sometimes downright panic attacks. I wasn't sleeping anymore, and I just couldn't get the whole thing off my mind. Just constantly thinking about that individual, his family and his friends, just intrusive thoughts. With that came a pretty significant alcohol abuse problem. That was kind of my way of putting myself to sleep every night, was to get drunk. I just hit a point where I didn't want to be at home, I didn't want to be at work, I didn't want to be with my friends. I completely isolated myself. In my mind, everybody was the problem except for me. I had come to believe that if I came forward and said, hey, I've got these problems, that I would lose my job. I started on the path to recovery with the help of some people that cared about me. It is something that my organization has recognized. They take it really seriously. So we've made some very significant progress in a very short period of time. One of the things that we still need to keep working on is breaking down the stigma. My father was a police officer. He reached out to somebody who'd been through an incident. This person said, I know what you're going through. It's not going to be easy, but everything will be okay. You just kind of need to make that step. One of the things that needed to be dealt with right away was the alcohol abuse. So that got sorted out with a stay at a residential treatment program. Once I got the alcohol abuse issue dealt with, everything else came a little bit easier. Taking things one day at a time, that's really been the approach and still is today. I've gradually come to start looking at the future and starting to make plans again. But I was only able to do it with the assistance of psychologists and psychiatrists and all those things that I was afraid of. There was a time where I thought you go to one appointment with a psychologist and the magic wand will be passed over you and everything's fine. That's kind of the way I wanted it to be, right? But no, this is the kind of thing that takes buy-in, so you do everything you can to learn about some of the issues that you're facing, to learn about treatment options, and you don't just make blind decisions, you become involved in the process, right? So it's post-traumatic stress disorder. That's what PTSD stands for. When you use a word like disorder, to me it says there's something wrong with me, right? I was fixated on that for a long time. The other word for it is an occupational stress injury, and I'm big on that. So for me, the occupational stress injury instead of PTSD, it just makes more sense. This is an actual thing that's happening to me here, and it's because of my job. I'm at a point now where I'm comfortable with where I've been. I've owned what I've done. I also own the fact that I'm recovering from it.